Nobody tells you this about climbing the money business. Your life doesn't get bigger. It gets quieter, emptier, harder to see. You think more money means more apartment, more watch. Your name on more documents. That's what it looks like from the bottom. That's what you assume at 24. But somewhere between 24 and 43, something you didn't expect happens. 18 floors up, on the desk of the one man who moves more money than your whole branch will touch in a decade. There's a single business card sitting in the quiet. White. No title, no number, just a name. And even that's a name most of the room has never heard out loud. You don't know it yet, but 18 years from now, you'll understand exactly why that card is blank. Not because he couldn't afford a title, because he stopped needing to exist on paper at all. This is what real wealth does to a life, not the version they sell you, the version that happens quietly, in the rooms nobody photographs. This is the bottom rung. If you want to see how these systems are actually built, subscribe. It's the only way the next breakdown finds you. Now come back to where it starts. Level 1. The Private Client Analyst. You're 24. The offer letter says $95,000 a year, and you have to sit down the first time you read it. New York takes its cut, and what actually hits your account is closer to 58. You don't yet understand that the gap between those two numbers is going to run your life for the next 3 years. The suit comes before your first paycheck even clears. $1,200. Split over 6 payments. Because the partners up on 18 wear something that falls a certain way across the shoulder, and you've quietly decided that fall is the cost of being taken seriously. Then the watch. Not the one you actually want. The one that's enough. $1,900. The model some forum swore reads as competent without looking like you tried. You take a studio 9 minutes from the office at $2,600 a month. On 58 after tax, it's indefensible. You sign anyway. Being close feels like being inside, and inside is the only thing you're hungry for. The work has nothing to do with the suit. You run KYC files until the letters blur. You build pitch books, 40 slides. 50 aligning table borders at 11 at night so a managing director can flip past them in 90 seconds the next morning. At the close, you reconcile AUM, assets under management, the figure that decides whether anyone above you eats well this quarter. Around 240 client accounts pass through your hands. Not one client knows your name. Your fees live in basis points. Hundredths of a percent. And the math sinks in fast on a $40 million account. 80 basis points is $320,000 a year. You keep that machine clean for a salary the client would never notice gone from his checking. Then, one afternoon, you catch it. The partner crossing the floor at noon has nothing on his wrist, bare. And it settles on you slowly. The suit, the watch, the address, all of it is an entrance fee. A toll the bottom pays to be let into the room. The people who belong stopped paying it years ago. They've got nothing left to prove by being inside. You spend money to look like you belong. They spend nothing because they already do. That's the first thing. The latter takes the idea that looking the part and being it are the same thing. Then it hands you something back. A book of your own. Level 2. The Relationship Manager. 32 now. The card says Vice President, which feels enormous right up until you count the roughly 400 other VPs in your division alone. The salary is $190,000. And for the first time, the contract number isn't the one that holds your attention. The book is 61 households, just under $900 million in assets you have to keep, grow, and not lose to the firm 3 blocks over. You quit buying watches 3 years back. No book about minimalism did that to you. A man worth $200 million did, sitting across a table, his eyes never once dropping to your wrist. Real clients don't grade your accessories. They grade whether you're useful to them, The watch was always a costume for the level you used to live on, and you've slipped off that level without announcing it. What grows in its place is a colder kind of skill. You read a person's money faster than the person can. A client lays out a portfolio he's proud of. The cars, the place in Aspen, the boat he works into conversation twice in 10 minutes, and you've already run the real numbers under it. Most of it is structured debt. The Aspen house is leveraged at 70%. The boat is a lease wearing the costume of ownership. What he shows you is a performance, financed against the wealth nobody photographs, and the wealth nobody photographs is the only kind that counts. The language arrives with the seeing. Discretionary mandate, custody, share of wallet. How much of a fortune your firm actually holds versus how much sits with 3 rival banks. All of you smiling across the same dinners. Fee compression, the slow leak as clients work out what you charge and start pushing. One Tuesday stays with you. A client worth maybe 100 times what you'll earn across your whole life thanks you, warmly, no act to it, and in the next breath, calls you, to a colleague. Our guy at the bank. Not a peer, not an equal. An instrument that happens to be useful, helpful, well paid, swappable. You return the smile, and the smile is real. But behind it, something small and cold gets filed away. You've mastered reading other people's money. You haven't built a dollar of your own. If you've come this far up the ladder, this channel exists for the kind of person who wants the structure and not the surface. Subscribe so the next breakdown reaches you. Come back. Because something should be keeping you up. At 32, you can read everyone's money this clearly, and you're still on the serving side of the table. Level 3, the Managing Director. 41. $420,000 in base and bonus, and then carry on top a cut of the upside on the deals you bring in. The first pay of your life, that's a share and not just a wage. From the outside, you've turned into the calm one. The sedan in your spot is 7 years old, and you drive it on purpose. Whole afternoons sit empty on your calendar because you left them that way. The dinners you used to chase, you turn down now, having clocked them as theater, and you decline without a flicker of apology. The firm reads it as a man who's risen above something. You let them keep reading it that way. You believe it yourself. You've decided the stripped-down life is your private enlightenment, the prize bolted to the top of the climb. Then look at what the days are actually made of. Every spare, deliberate, minimal thing you do points at one outcome, making your clients vanish. Your hours go to net new money, fresh capital drawn off the ultra-wealthy, and to the machinery that hides it the moment it lands. You build the trusts. You draft the fiduciary carve-outs that lift assets clear of a client's personal name until, on paper, he owns next to nothing. You run dynastic planning that walks a fortune across 3 generations without it ever surfacing as one person's property. You stand up grats so appreciation passes untaxed. You place the alternative sleeve the private. Unlisted, unphotographable holdings into vehicles carrying no name at all. 17 years sharpening one craft, erasing people from their own wealth on paper. And the hollow part finds you on a Sunday, house quiet, the account balance past anything 24-year-old you could picture. You are the best in the building at making other people disappear. You are not disappeared. The salary still lands. You still report upward. The title can still be lifted out from under you in a reorg you'll find out about by email. You took your own minimalism for freedom, and it was never that. It was competence aimed with great precision at somebody else's liberation. That's what this level quietly removes the belief the stripped-down life was ever your discovery. And it gives you one thing in trade, a first clean look at a side of the table you've worked beside for 20 years and never sat at. Then a client invites you to his home. Level 4, the other side of the table. 43. The client lives 40 minutes past the city line, and the house holds you in the doorway half a second longer than is polite. 11,000 square feet and almost nothing inside it. No clutter, nothing on display. One long room, 3 pieces of furniture, lights sliding across bare floor. Most of your career, you'd have read it on site as taste the clean emptiness of a man past needing to prove anything. The exact story you told yourself about your own pared-down life one level back. But 20 years in this business has done something to your eye, and standing there, the reading turns over. The emptiness isn't aesthetic. It's structural. He doesn't own the house, a trust does. The deed running through an LLC, you'd need an afternoon to unwind. The car in the drive isn't in his name either. The single wall with art on it is hung with pieces a private foundation owns and loans back to him. You start reading the room the way you read a client file, and the pattern is unmistakable. Bare walls aren't restraint. They're the visible skin of a beneficial ownership structure built so this man holds title to almost nothing and controls almost everything. Domicile picked for the tax treaty, a spousal lifetime access trust. A family limited partnership sitting on the operating assets, an irrevocable structure that puts the house out of reach of any court, any claim, any name, his included. And the weight of it lands where you didn't brace for it. Your own minimalism, the thing you were quietly proud of at 41, is a poor man's tracing of this. You stripped your life down by choice and called it freedom. He stripped his name off his life by design and never had to call it anything at all. You were copying the outline of a structure you've never been let inside. You build these for other people. Not once have you been the person they're built around. A question starts, and you don't let it finish. 2 decades mastering the machine that makes the wealthy vanish, and the vanishing only ever runs one direction. Then you see him, not the client you came for. Someone else, in the corner, who hasn't spoken once and whom nobody bothered to introduce. You've never met this man. Your entire career exists because of him. He doesn't work for the bank. He doesn't work for anyone. He's the principal of a single-family office. The one entity your firm has been circling this whole time without ever putting his name in a meeting. The client you drove out to see, the empty 11,000 square foot house, the trusts, the foundation lending him his own paintings, that client answers to the man in the corner. So does your whole branch, 2 layers removed. And you never knew the second layer was there. There's no alarm in his morning. He wakes when he wakes. 1 black coffee in a kitchen as bare as the room you're standing in. No 9 a.m., no meetings. Because meetings are where people who need something go to ask for it. He signs nothing himself. A power of attorney moves on his behalf. Somebody else's name on every page that touches the outside world. The work that ate your whole morning, the structures you spent 17 years learning to build, reaches desk already finished, waiting on a single initial passed through a third party. Then the number that pulls the air out of the room. 18 years you climbed, at the peak 43, managing director. Terry, and all you're responsible for roughly $300 million of someone else's book. This one man steers around $4.2 billion through the trusts stacked beneath him, 14 times anything you will ever touch, and holds in his own personal name close to zero. Pays in personal income tax close to zero. No fraud anywhere in it. Structure. The same structure you build for a wage. Set the 2 of you side by side. You're visible. You have a boss. You have a salary that lands on the 15th and the 30th. He's invisible. No boss. No salary flow instead. Capital running through vehicles dressed in other people's names. Your minimalism was about owning fewer things. His was never about things. It was about lifting his name off every one of them. And the ladder you just climbed, all 6 floors, 20 years of hunger and skill, and the slow stripping down you mistook for arriving, it was never the building. It was the staffing floor of a building no one ever told you was real. Somewhere right now, a 24-year-old is being handed his first business card. He's in the suit he financed over 6 payments, the watch that was enough, $1,900. He took the apartment 9 minutes from the office because being close feels like being picked. He's hungry to be seen, and he has no idea the whole climb ahead of him runs toward people who decided, a long time ago, never to be seen at all. The blank white card on the 18th floor reads differently now. No title. No number. A name most of the room has never heard. At the bottom, the stripped-down life is scarcity dressed up as taste. At the top, it's power that learned to hold its breath. The entire game lives in the distance between those 2 readings. He doesn't know that yet. One day, he will. If you want to keep seeing the real structure under systems like this one, subscribe, and the next breakdown will find you. Come back.